got
Gonna be a lot of times where you on camera tonight. What?
you.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold. Look at this man over here, fully swagged out, focused on you. This. I appreciate you, brother. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. He got the
Love it. Love the
hat.
merch. Love the merch, man. Love the merch. I
Yes,
love the
sir.
merch.
Yes, sir.
For
Listen,
sure.
man. This is what we do. Family and team. I love it, man. Look, man. Where my hat at, man? God. Also, that's too far to reach. It's way over there.
No, I got it. I got one for both. I got it for both of us. We
I
good. We
love it.
good.
I love it. Appreciate you, man. Hey, welcome to the stream, folks. Welcome to Team No Sleep. It's been a couple of weeks, but what is this? May 10th. We see some folks in the building already. We're glad that you are here hanging out with us. Mr. Cox, thank you for always keeping the attendees on point. Now, Montel, let me tell you something. We talked about this behind the scenes. It's gonna be a little off for your boy tonight because I'm going through some things.
Yeah.
Shout,
Got that
shout,
19, huh? You got that
man,
19
yeah.
on you.
Look, it is for real out here in these streets. This COVID-19, I tested positive this morning,
Yeah.
and it's tough. Today's been a tough day for sure, but I had a couple of streams, and this one in particular definitely wanted to make sure that we do, man. If you not got your vaccine, if you have not gotten boosted, do it because I think that's what's keeping me standing upright right now. But it's hard right now. But we gonna do this. It's not about me. It's about the community. We see it, MDH. It's good to see you. Miss you, partner. Haven't talked to you in a long time. I know you're doing some things. Mr. Cox, yeah, definitely put on some swag, brother. Take a picture of it. Let's go and get focused since that's what we're talking about. Let's get into some of these things. We got a lot of social impact stories to talk about, but let's go with one that was last week since we didn't do a show. Yeah, like Kevin Cox was saying, yeah, we missed 2 weeks ago, but Brittney Griner, right? We know she's still missing in terms of she's not where she's supposed to be.
Yep.
Right. She's still in isolation and held up in Russia because of the hashish oil that she had in her bag. WNBA is doing or did a tribute to her by putting her number 42 on the floor, right, of the court. My question with this and my statement with this, listen, you got to do a little bit more than that though. Right. WNBA may not be able to go out there and actually swoop some troops in to pull her out or pay the ransom or do whatever, but something else besides just a little, besides just a hashtag, besides just put the number 42 on the side of the floor has to be done to get this woman back home safely. And it just does not seem to be enough happening from a political perspective and from just a human rights perspective to bring this woman back home where she needs to be. Montel, talk to us a little bit about this while I work
Yeah,
on the comments.
I appreciate what the WNBA is doing, but like you said, it's not enough. I don't know why the NBA hasn't gotten involved with this situation. How come 42 is not on all the playoff jerseys that guys are wearing that are being nationally syndicated right now? Why is the NBA and NBA players not speaking out about she needs an opportunity, she should be coming home, and figuring out we don't just have to put pressure on them politically. We can put it on them athletically, saying, hey, us U.S. basketball players are not going to come over there anymore until you release her to come home or till you do these things, where a lot of them go over there to do camps and all that stuff every year. There needs to be, I think, a more pressure from that standpoint in order to be able to help her, be released.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in that aspect. I don't know why. Again, I don't know if it's Players Association or if it's owners or they feel they don't need to get involved, but I believe that say-so should be done on that scale as well because they have the national spotlight right now with the playoffs going on.
Exactly.
It should be there. I think it should be plastered all over the place there. Free Brittney because that would put pressure on all political powers to do it, as well as them over there because they're watching the games just like we are.
Yeah.
They're fans just like we are of the sport. So if the men are putting pressure just like the women are, I think it would put a little bit more pressure on the government to say, you know what, maybe we need to release her a lot sooner or come to a resolution a lot faster.
And especially, listen, let's just face it, right? The men, the NBA has a little bit more clout, right? And again, they're known when you got the folks like LeBron, you got some of the other folks out there, some of the superstar athletes who are known for being more than just an athlete, right? They pride
Yep.
themselves on the social change and those social aspects that they do. Even the Dennis Rodmans of the world. Listen, man, right? A couple of years ago, did he go down to North Korea and mess around with that dude? So these players, these celebrities, these folks within society, they can actually make some change happen. It would be nice to see these folks put their money where their mouth is, to just put some action in, as opposed to, again, like I say, less hashtags and more action. Actually, I got a shirt that says that. I made that and put that on my present social site last year.
I think you're right on point, man. I mean, where's the Michael Jordan speaking out on this? You know, where's the Magic Johnson speaking out on this? I know the other things they got going on and everything else, but this is just as important as well. As important as well, and it will free a human being from being wrongfully incarcerated in another country. Yeah. Why are they not speaking up on this? We can talk about I love the NBA and I want to talk about scores and all that stuff as well. Just as much as the next person, but also this is a human factor. And it's supposed to be their sister, right? She's in that familyhood, that sisterhood, brotherhood of the professional basketball. Yeah. Why? Again, I'm really, I don't know if I'm disheartened or I'm just or disappointed. I'm just not wondering why they haven't been able to say it. I don't know if their hands are tied where they're not saying anything about it, or they haven't thought about it to speak about it or whatnot. But they should be talking about this situation like on every break they have. They should be free Brittney Griner. Yeah. Why? They should all be wearing on these suits and pennants and hats and whatever they got to do to be able to help her be free, because they know if they have that kind of that political power to do that, that means they can really pull together and do other things when other athletes are wrongfully incarcerated or in a similar situation. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the NBA, but I do believe it's not too late. I would hope they would jump on board and really speak their truth and speak their powers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna challenge you on the fact that you say you don't think it's too late. I think it's just been too long, right? I mean, yes. does the crime, does the detention fit the crime, right?
She's there.
Come on,
we can't do nothing about that. She's there under their rules. The thing we can do on our end is put more pressure on them to say they need her free.
Good point.
I think if LeBron is speaking out on it, not just Twitter, but he's on TV or he's doing a commercial saying, "Hey, we need to free Brittney Griner." Period. We need somebody. We need to go over there and free her up. Russian government, we need you to free her, or we're not going to play no more exhibition games over there. We're going to boycott doing exhibition games over there. We're going to boycott as the NBA even coming over there at all. We're not going to allow any of our players to go over there. If you try to put that kind of pressure on them, because it's entertainment dollars, somebody's making a lot of money off that when they go over there. That puts the pressure on let her go. So I think if the NBA spoke out more so, and put it on that national stage, like I said.
Right.
On this national stage, while they're all in the playoffs, it should be on that stage saying, "Hey, you need to free Brittney Griner." It should be a tag going across the bottom of the screen. It's to wear something on, because the bottom line, if it was somebody else, they would do it. They would do it. So
you're right. If it was, and you don't want it to happen to anyone else, but if it was Taraji, I mean, and I love her, love Diana. I mean, if it was someone else, right, besides probably Brittney, that's an interesting point that you mentioned.
I would even take it another further. What if it was an NBA player over there, a star? Because Brittney Griner's a star in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Let's say that was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was stuck over there. Wow. You don't think the NBA would be doing it? You don't think they would get
listen, there'd be SWAT teams and there'd be SEALs teams out there in 24 hours to get that man out. That's true.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So why is that same pressure not applied to her? She's a superstar. She's an athletic, and let's be honest, she's a millionaire. She's not like she's some person that's not worth something, not worth something to our economy. She's a millionaire. So why would you not be able to put those kind of pressures on her? Now, if our government is tied and they got to go through their litigation, I understand that. So they can do so much because they got to work with the Russian government. But the fact that the entertainment aspect that we have and the power we have in that's a global market, can put pressure on them as well. That means that's more so for Russia to say, you know what, maybe we need to let her go.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that yet. We haven't gotten that on that platform yet. So that part is the part where I'm disappointed in. Like, I would hope the Shaquille O'Neal's when he's on TNT and the Charles Barkley's, they should be saying something when they're on the TNT. Stephen A. Smith should be saying something when he's doing his
Man, I'm
thing.
tired. Don't mention Stephen A. Smith, man.
Well, I'm just saying, well, he has a
But
platform
yeah,
where
I
he
hear
can reach
you.
people off the stage. So, I mean, so if they ain't saying it, we saying it. You know, they need to put pressure on them to be able to, you know, to put it out there. So, like you said, they always watch our show. Let's see if they start to bag on it is and grab onto something that's actually the right cause.
We'll see if they say something. And, you know, here's an interesting point as well, right? Yeah, we wish that some of these actions would have happened sooner. We can Monday morning quarterback all we want to, but Melanie has an interesting statement here, right? And this can't be overshadowed and overlooked. You also have to wonder if there are bigger issues involved, a potential and pending war. We are in an indirect war with Russia. That has to be taken into consideration as well. And, you know, not getting in on the political aspect or realm of this, but you know, we get over there and start messing with Russia. That's the one, right? We don't.
I mean,
you gotta want to dance around it, and you want to be real strategic about what you do.
That could be an issue, but Brittney Griner is not this part of a war. The war has already happened. It's already started. We're asking you to free an American that right now is indirectly not involved in the war. A person that is an innocent person that is, you know, wrongfully incarcerated, that they're holding captive for no reason. I don't see any reason why the entertainment industry can't put pressure on them to say, hey, could you please release her? Because the bottom line, we do a lot of things over there. So there could be a medium in that. She's not going to be the spark of a war. The war has already started. And she's not going to be the end of the war when we release her. Like if they release her, like we're going to say we're going to stop fighting, that stuff's still going to happen with Ukraine and them over there. We're asking something like an individual or isolated incident to be resolved right now. And I believe the NBA and those powers could put pressure for Russia to say, you know what? Maybe we ought to just go ahead and let her go or let her go back to the United States and do what she got to do. You know, that part I believe is very important. And I don't care. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Michael Jordan have nothing to do on that realm of what's going to happen in the war state. They can voice their opinion all the way. It doesn't matter if we're going to shoot a bomb or not. That has nothing to do with it. But I do believe they have enough political and social power to be able to make an impact over Russia, to make the fans they have over there, to put pressure on their government to say, you know, maybe you need to release her.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I think it could be a win-win if they go ahead and do that. So I just did, like I said, I'm disappointed they haven't gotten involved.
Yeah, free Brittney, man. Come on now, let her come on home. Let her come on home.
Yeah,
we'll keep watching this story, and we'll keep talking about it, even if no one else is talking about. Appreciate everybody jumping into the comments and joining the stream. Again, if you got a question, here's the moderator disclaimer. Put a Q in front of it because I'm a little slower tonight. and I may not see it. So y'all pray for the old man here. Y'all pray for me. Let's go on to the next one. Let's talk about this right here. Again, another social impacting story. We just had the draft, right? Mm-hmm. Matthew Corral, right, has been drafted. He's going to Carolina Panthers. Yep. Okay, he's going there, going to be a QB. But you know, Matthew Corral is coming out with statements and saying, look, this is all fine and dandy. This is great. These are dreams come true. But I, as Matt Corral, have issues within myself that I need to deal with. I got some demons. I'm dealing with depression. I'm dealing with alcoholism as well. And I really wanted to bring this story to light and say, you know, this is a grown man right here coming and bringing these things to light, because this is showing that he is aware of issues that are going on. He's asking for help. So we definitely want to raise awareness to this and say, look, especially for the youth, right? Especially for young athletes, especially for young kids as well, who are aspiring to be in that room for the NFL draft, and then to hear their name called, go and get that jersey, go and get that check and all that, to see that, look, this first round draft pick or this draft pick as well has issues that everyone else has. Right, alcoholism and depression and things like that, and he's asking for help. So I just wanted to bring this up and kind of get your opinion on it, Montel, as well, because we talk a lot about this stuff right here, right? Men really stepping up, and again, not just men, but particularly men stepping up to the plate and saying, "Listen, I got a challenge, I've got an issue, and I'm asking for help. I know that I can't do everything all the time, and I've got these demons, as this story is saying, that I'm trying to deal with." So. Shouts out to Matt Corral on this, man. Give me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it's a cry for help, and I have to applaud him because he's talking about life outside of football. You know, he deals with isolation and depression and all these different things and these demons and alcoholism. I think he's very commendable to be, one, to admit that he has these demons and these flaws in his character, and the fact that he's willing to work on them. He wants to work on them. He wants help to work on them to alleviate them. I think that just commands tremendous praise on this part, especially when you're playing in a sport like football where you hide those things. You're supposed to be this macho man. I get beat up on Sundays and I'm taking all these different things, and I'm not supposed to admit that I have problems or issues with these things. So very commendable on this young man's part to be able to do that. And like the article says, he doesn't deserve criticism. He deserves praise to be able to speak out about it, because now it's something that can be an open dialogue to be fixed.
Yeah.
He can start to talk about it and get it fixed. I think more so, I know me when I play football, and I only played at the collegiate level, but I can tell you right now, I know I battled depression. I battled those kind of things. I wasn't a drinker or a smoker or nothing like that, so I didn't do drugs or alcohol. But I battled depression. I don't know if I wouldn't so say there were demons, but I've dealt with other life pressures that were really hard on me. I was a teenage father. I had my first son when I was, my first year of college. So I had a lot of different things that I was battling with, that I had to deal with, and depression was one of those. And I didn't talk about it. I learned how to internalize it and just kind of deal with it. I commend him to be able to reach out for help and ask for help, and asking for a professional organization that has a lot of money to be able to corral around him to help him in that way, where it doesn't have to be a secret, where he can kind of just deal with it and figure it out and figure out where his mainstay is going to be. I think this is going to open the door for other professional athletes to be able to talk about it as well and set example for a team. It's funny. There was a young lady at Morgan State. She's a softball player, and she was talking about her mental health. Kind of the same situation. She's like, where's the help for me when this all ends?
Wow.
Because this is going to end, right? Softball is going to end for her. Her sport is about to end. And where's my help? Where's my depression? Because I'm not going to the pros. There's no pro level for me to go to. There's none of these things going to me. And people act like we don't go through the same thing that other people go through. And I'm already starting to get depressed looking towards the end of the season. Where's my help?
Right.
So I think stories like his and her stuff, those stories are starting to open up, because there's a lot more of those people that are out there. You go through depression, man. It's real. Yeah. It's how you deal with it and how you deal with those demons. And I mean, like I said, I hope he becomes a poster child. I hope he speaks about it more. I hope he talks about it more. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't become a detriment. I really do. I hope it doesn't become a detriment.
I agree. Yeah.
In his professional world, because some may look at that as weakness, right? We already know some people look at that as weakness because he's admitting it and he's talking about it. I hope it doesn't become a detriment or something that's a roadblock in his development and becoming the best professional football player he wants to be.
Yeah. So I'm thinking probably it's going to be some of those whack fans outside that are probably going to be talking negative, as opposed to folks that are actually in the locker room, in the organization, out there on the field, right? To be honest with you. So now that he's got this platform, right? Again, you use this platform of the NFL and being out there, and like you say, being that poster child, being the one to talk about getting help, not being ashamed of it, not being afraid of it, using your resources and just going out there and trying to get better. So that's like my man right here saying, this is real talk. So yeah, hopefully Matt Corral can be that guiding light for a lot of folks. And again, I keep talking about youngsters because, again, he's coming in brand new, so he can relate to
he's young himself.
Right?
I
mean, right? He can relate to those freshmen, sophomores, and seniors that they're still out there in college.
But he's a young man himself, though. I mean, the fact that a young man is around 22 years old is spreading an awareness about mental health.
Yeah.
Can you imagine now? Remember, these demons take a while to develop, right? They just didn't happen overnight. He didn't abuse alcohol in just one night.
True.
He didn't have these depression episodes in just one day, one night. These things are built up probably since high school, right? High school, probably that's where it kind of started. Being isolated, being depressed. He uses alcoholism as his crutch. It kind of just gazed his way all the way up through college. Now he's at the pros where he knows he has to be a professional. And he's saying, hey, I have these flaws about myself. I have these things that I can already self-identify that I really need to figure out how to kick it and get over it and make some things happen. So I like that he has his platform. And it's funny that, like you said, these stories aren't on a national level. They're not talking about it. They're not having these things about them. We'd rather talk about other stuff. This is real life. This is what a lot more go through than we think. Yep. So I'm glad he can share his story with us through his lens and what he's dealing with. It, I'm wishing him all the best. I hope he gets help.
Love it. I might go out there and get one of his jerseys. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm still concerned about my Steelers, and I don't want to even have the conversation tonight. So don't let's
No,
not go.
hey, wait, hold
Oh,
on.
here we go. I shouldn't have
No, no,
said
no, no,
that.
no, no, no.
Okay.
I'm coming around, man. I'm starting to like the Steelers a little bit more.
Oh my God!
That's what,
Say that one more
you know.
again, man. Let me.
Yeah. I'm starting to like a little. I mean, the fact that they drafted the young man, or they didn't draft, they signed the undrafted free agent Jahad Wood from Washington State.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a big fan. I think he's a spitting image of Devin Bush, and I'm speaking about this young man and his character because I knew him when he was in high school.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of connected through college, and now he's with the Steelers. Plus, you got Najee Harris. I mean, they got a lot of great character young men that's in that program. I can't do nothing but root for them.
Look at you sometime. Look at you sometime. And come through now. Okay.
I'm all good.
Okay. All right.
So that's a good one. I'm on your side on that.
I'm gonna send you a terrible towel, and I'm gonna need you to wave it every given Sunday, God dog. Every given Sunday.
I'm with you on that one, man. I'm with you on that. I'll do that for you. That's for sure. I'll rock that.
I love it. All right. Let's move on to the next story here. This is a pretty cool story, man. Gregory Odom got the chance to actually go out there and play in the PGA Amateur. He won his last amateur outing, but he was actually at Wells Fargo. Was it late last week? Last weekend. He's a senior at Howard University, so that's big shouts out and big props to that too as well. But he got called up and he qualified, just rightfully so, to play in the Wells Fargo Championship, the PGA Tour's Wells Fargo Championship. He made it through the second round. He got cut in the second round, but again, just the aspect of making that dream a reality, making it happen, and to see someone that looks like that playing in the PGA. Look, we all love Tiger. A lot of us love, because that's where it came from. That's where it started. That's really where it opened a lot of our eyes, a lot of our perceptions and visibility to the golf world by seeing Tiger dominate, by seeing him win. But I think it's phenomenal to see someone else out there picking up the pace, picking up the torch, so to speak, and actually coming out there and representing, looking well while he's doing it, being a class act, doing decently while he's out there fighting the tough holes out there on the course. So just wanted to shout out to Gregory Odom Jr. for making it that far. And I mean, look at this, man. This is stellar crew right here. This is the Howard University golf team right here, who, after they just won the Division I team competition, I forgot where it was, but that's a stellar looking crew. So just wanted to give some shouts out to Gregory Odom on that.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. It's great to see Howard on a national stage with golf. I mean, of all sports, see them on a national stage.
That sparked my interest as well, right? Because you never would have thought Howard University. I don't know why, but even would have never thought Howard University doing so well in golf, but yet still winning.
We got to give a shout out to them, and also North Carolina Central. They actually have a really good golf team as well. And I think stories like this is bringing awareness and bringing more popularity to the sport amongst African American and Latino culture, which is great. I believe that we're still breaking down barriers. Tiger was the one, he got through it, but now we're on the tail end of his career. We need, like you said, to see more faces like us, more faces that look like us, and I'm talking about every kind of folk.
Yeah.
Black, white, yellow, green, orange.
Every kind of folk. Yeah, man.
Should be out there and be able to play, so we can see them and have people that want to mimic them, and young people that want to get involved. I think we got the stages with tennis now. The Serena Williams sisters are going out. We got Naomi Campbell coming in. Golf, we don't have that. We had Tiger, and that was pretty much it. We really don't have anybody coming in to kind of pick that pace up and keep it going. And to see that Howard University is kind of leading that charge with a lot of talented golfers, and this young man has been one of the best. I think it just shows how, one, the sport is growing, how it's great to see African Americans and Latinos participate. And I mentioned the Latinos because they just had the Latino golf thing in Atlanta, I think a week ago. But to see them being, and grooming themselves in the sport, getting better and better, and now we're starting to play, peak at the highest level. I think it's always a great thing to be able to have that, because now we can, talk collectively about sports, and we can always have our fan. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's nothing wrong with being a fan just because of somebody's skin color. If that will get you involved in the sport and you like it, and that will make you attracted to it,
Yeah.
by all means, go there. Where there's nothing wrong. It's not racist. It's not racial. It's nothing. You just see somebody that looks like you, and you want to be like them.
You see that inclusion, right? You see that, yes, I can. If you can do it, you look like me, then you know what? Maybe that could be that barrier that you get over to say, yes, I can do it as well,
Absolutely.
right? And so the video,
Absolutely.
folks, that I'm showing is Gregory Odom while he was hugging his mom as he was getting ready to go play his first hole at the Wells Fargo championship. Which, come on, that's what it's all about right there. When you can make your mom happy, that's what it's all about right there. So.
Yes, indeed. I think it's a great, man. I think, I just think it's great, man. I think it's a great thing to be able to kind of get that torch and kind of get in there and, like I said, to acclimate ourselves and bring more popularity to what's going on. I mean, it's funny. People always say, how come you talk about color with sports like tennis and auto racing and golf and everything? And I'm like, well, it's just like Eminem. White people became attracted to hip hop, especially when they saw him. Before it was just mainly predominant African American thing. When they saw him, now we have abundance of Caucasian rappers that are very talented that are in there that are accepted. Same thing with us. When we see somebody that's golfing that looks like us, it's something that becomes more wide world accepted because we can assimilate. We can figure out. We're, like you said, it's very inclusive for us. So I think this is a great thing. I think this is, the more we can see that, the more within our community we can embrace it more, and the more people will have trying the sport and getting involved with it.
We just need more diversity in hockey. I'm trying to understand the game of hockey, and I don't know.
It's coming.
I like the fact that they can fight. Listen, I think it's in the rules, right? You've got to be able to put them hands on somebody if you're gonna play hockey. So I would love to see more diversity there. Lacrosse is big up here in my area.
Lacrosse is
I can't do a sport until I know the rules, though. Until I actually know the rules of a sport, I can't necessarily get in because I don't want to be one of them.
But you're saying it from a fan standpoint. I'm saying it from a participation standpoint and getting to know the sport. Getting to know the sport, it's great. I mean, we do have a few African Americans that are professional hockey players.
Yeah.
They're not put in the mainstream yet for whatever reason, but it's getting there, starting to open up a little bit more. I mean, lacrosse is a growing sport everywhere across, especially in sunny states like California, where it's everywhere. Here in Hawaii, I believe it's starting to really grow big time. So I think just the fact that, like I said, if we can see more of us playing it and trying it and being involved with it, it sparks our youth's curiosity to also get involved in them instead of just the traditional baseball, football, basketball. Now we're starting to open ourselves up to play a lot more sports and do a lot more things and, be able to become good professionals at it. I think it's great. I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? I want my kids to try everything they want to try. Let's be able to have a part of it because it's just going to broaden their spectrum and their connections in life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
About connections in life, and beyond the sport, right? Hey, I played lacrosse with you when we were in high school, or hey, I played golf with you when I was in junior high. Those things go a long way, especially as we get older in life. Those are the things that make us who we are. So I think it's wonderful, man. As long as we can see somebody, like I said, sparking that interest and giving the next person that kind of hope, let's do it.
I love it. I'm gonna bring this comment up too because Kevin is saying, golf and tennis struggle because of the history of those sports and those clubs where they have been played and the rules at those places. That's true, right? But folks, not just us, not just African Americans, but a diverse community are starting to kick down those doors and take names and start winning. So it's slowly but surely it can be too slow in some people's minds, but at least we're starting to get progression. We're starting to see, again, we're seeing folks on the golf course. We're starting to see folks on the tennis court, in racing, in hockey, in all of those aspects. I think it's better for society when it looks more like the melting pot of society when out there playing. So there we go. Let's keep it moving. Appreciate everyone joining us again. Go and get into this NBA. I'm in Sacramento, so I'm not I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm a sometime a fan. I'm a summertime a fan. You know, Kings have been trifling on the heartstrings, you know, for a long time. So who knows? We hopefully we can do something. But right now, we got a new head coach. Listen, I'm saying we like again like it's my team. Sacramento Kings have a new head coach. They got Mike Brown, who won last night the game for as the interim head coach for the Warriors because Coach Kerr tested positive. Same day I tested positive, Coach Kerr tested positive. I don't know, maybe we were at the same club. I don't know what's going on. But we got Mike Brown coming over to the Sacramento Kings as the head coach. How come there's no pictures of him or nothing? Y'all know who Mike Brown is, but I think that's a good thing, right? Again, when you have more, here we go again, but in a relevant conversation, more diversity at the head coaching position within these large franchises. I think that just matters to have that happening. So I don't know about his squad. I unfortunately haven't been keeping up with the talent that's out there on the court right now. But just to have Mike Brown's a different name than some of the other names that have always been talked about for some of these head coaching positions. What do you think about Mike Brown being named head coach for the Sacramento Kings?
I don't want to. You know, Mike Brown's a qualified coach. Obviously, he's good guy. He was successful in Cleveland when he had LeBron there. He was pretty successful there when he coached in Cleveland. I believe, me personally, I thought Mark Jackson would have been a better fit for the job. You know, Mark Jackson, I think is
I'm gonna interrupt you just right there because I believe in Mark Jackson's credentials, but there were some things that have started coming out about Mark Jackson, about maybe some things that he was saying in some circles that didn't really match with kind of the culture that the Kings or any team probably wanted to go with. But yeah, from an X's and O's perspective, Mark Jackson,
that may have been said or not, but you can't argue with the results. And then with Mark Jackson,
the X's and O's, right? Yep.
Yeah. He tore down the Warriors organization. He rebuilt it up by drafting Steph, drafting Clay, you know, making moves to get Draymond, and look at them now. They're fixtures in the organization where there's 3 Hall of Famers that he built. He constructed to be a part of that program. I think you can't argue with the results. I'm no knock on Mike Brown. I think he's a great coach. You know, he's going to do some wonderful things with the Kings. But me personally, I think, you know, when you see somebody tear down an organization and build it up the way the Warriors are now, and he was instrumental in doing that, I don't think you can argue with that. I don't care what circles he was talking on, good, bad, or indifferent. I can't argue with his results because let's be honest with you. Steve Kerr won the championship with Mark Jackson's squad that he built. He just added a few. He added a few flavors to it, but I mean, as far as plays in different ways, but it was all Mark Jackson's team that he built there. So I would prefer if they would have went that way, but I don't have any problem with you know, hiring Brown. I mean, he's obviously the fit and the culture they want to develop. I think he's a soft-spoken guy. He obviously understands his X's and O's and know what to do and how to do it. I think Mark Jackson may be a little more brash, a little more, you know, heavy-handed on the organization, how he wants to run things. There's no wrong way in either one of them. They're both right. At least now, I believe Mike Brown will bring a winning coach's attitude to the Kings, where the other coaches were there, but they were all not veterans. They were kind of their new job, and this is their first head coaching job with Luke Walton. This is just so now they got a guy that's been established, been around the league, knows how to win, is going to bring that culture down to Sacramento, which I hope it's a win-win. And also, let's give a shout out to Monty Williams for winning Coach of the Year from Phoenix. You know, good job for him.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
So I mean, it's all looking good. It's all looking good, I think, it's at this point. And I wish Sacramento all the best of luck. I just think they're going to have to rebuild and start all over again, unfortunately.
Man, see, hold on. You're gonna have us starting all over. The season hadn't even started.
Yeah. You got to, man. I mean, you got to.
Already making it a rebuilding year, and we not even started with the season. I mean,
I think it's going to be. I mean, you got to think about it, man. They have a few good pieces, but they don't have that pieces to get over in the West. The West, you got to win damn near 45 to 50 games just to get in the playoffs.
No, listen, Phoenix and whatchamacallit, Golden State, you know,
Dallas, Denver.
Man, you're not gonna beat. Yeah, that's true.
all of them, you got to win 45 games. So with the current squad, can they do that right now? I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But I mean, I'm saying, what I mean by rebuilding, he's got to put his stamp on it. And that stamp usually means you got to get rid of something in order to get something to come there and play. Yeah. I believe he's going to have to put that kind of stamp on it and rebuild the team the way he wants to, the way he envisions it. And the one thing I hope the Kings owners and the front and the staff is behind what he wants to do. Usually they butt heads.
True.
The only time they've been in sync is when the Maloofs were there. When Maloofs were there, whatever the coaches them needed, they brought him in. When they brought in Bobby Jackson, they brought in, Mike Bibby. They brought in all the guys they wanted to do, and they were really successful. There was basically one game away from getting to the championship. But ever since the Maloofs left, the new ownership hasn't been as supportive, I say, as a coaching staff as they were before.
That's true.
In my opinion.
True. No, I agree with you 100%. And we're my Kings fans out there, folks that follow them. You know, what a cowbell nation at. It's been since those Weber, Jackson days that I've been a fan, just because it's just disappointing and depressing to see them out there right now. And hopefully they'll listen to Mike Brown. But you're right. I can't pronounce the owner's last name, but yeah, he wants to be kind of like the Jerry Jones, right? He wants to be all of it, owner, GM, you know, making all the decisions as opposed to allowing what needs to happen out there for them to elevate their status and not be in a rebuilding situation every single year. So
yeah, but we know the main thing with Sacramento is attracting that star power, right?
Yeah,
we have a hard time attracting that star power because it's a small market. I think they just need to figure out who they want to go get, be aggressive in going to get them, and bring them there and start building a team around that person or those individuals who they want to bring in, and stop playing with collectively a lot of role players.
Yeah.
We haven't had a superstar. We haven't had a superstar since Mike Bibby and Chris Webber in Sacramento. There has not been a superstar there since those guys left.
That's true.
I think it's time.
DeAndre Fox, like Kevin is talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, he's good.
Fox is good.
No, he's an all-star, but I mean, he's not, you know, at that level to where other top tier players want to come and rock with him out there as well.
But also with Fox, they failed to build with him, right, or counter with him, or make those trades to get him involved with other star players.
Yeah,
Fox is a rising superstar. Don't get me wrong, like the boy, he's a bad boy, but we already know in the NBA. It's now you have to have at least a big three or at least a power two to get yourself in a situation where you're going to be, be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so where Sacramento made the effort to kind of bring that other, that under complementary player with Fox, they haven't. And me personally, the ownership has been refusing to spend money, in order to make that happen. Whatever way, they can call it how they want it. They just refuse to spend money to bring that high profile player here. It's going to be a big free agent market coming up now. That's coming up here. They need to go out and get somebody. To be honest with you, the Rudy Gobert is going to be there. Somebody's going to be there in that market that they need to bring in that says, you know what? I don't care about the small market. Let's get you here and let's make something happen. And I believe once they start to do that, the glory days of the Kings will be back.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Or maybe I'm just delusional from all of the education here. But well, and then one thing you said, right? You called Sacramento a small market, which is crazy. It is when you think about it, but then it shouldn't be because it's the capital of California. It should be a larger market, honestly, than something like well, no, I was going to say Memphis or OKC, but no, those are big name cities as well for everything else happening outside of it.
No, I hear what you're saying. Sacramento should be, to be honest with you, Sacramento should be adjacent to like the New York Jets or like the New York Knicks in Brooklyn because we're only an hour away from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everything in between has been developed now. It's not like you drive in and it's going to be dirt road.
True.
So everything's developed. So there's pretty much connected. Even some people from Sacramento say they're from the Bay Area. Right? Yeah. They say they're Bay Area. They say they consider Sacramento some of the Bay Area. So it shouldn't be a small market. It should be complementary to what's going on in San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose as a market that can withstand it.
Yeah.
But they don't. I don't know if they don't position themselves like or want to be that way. But I believe once they start to see themselves in that situation, like the Knicks in Brooklyn, Sacramento will be fine attracting talent because, like I said, if you're a player and you want to have that nightlife and go out party, It's an hour away in the Bay Area. You don't have to go very far. That's a quick flight or that's a quick drive to get there. Depending on traffic. So if you can get a players that are attracted to something like that, now it's not such a small market; it's a big market. But I mean, they just have to come with that identity like that, I believe. And Sacramento can do it, man. I don't have no doubt. I think they can do it. It's just you got to be able to spend money and you got to be able to attract the right people to want to come in. I believe it's all about how you position yourself in marketing. If I can show you can make just as much money here being in Sacramento as you can being in Dallas, then why not do it?
That's true. Listen, man, and you're right. It's not that far away. And Kevin is saying a lot of folks commute from Sacramento area down to the Bay. Take Amtrak or just find a way to get it done. So hopefully this is just the start of another not rebuilding decade for Sacramento, and something happens. I'd love to actually see some more of the other sports come out as well. I mean, Sacramento used to have I don't know if they still have it, but it used to have a women's football league. Sacramento, I forgot the name of it was, but yeah, used to have that. Soccer is huge up here too with FC Republic. So I mean, we got some things to offer around this neck of the woods. So
yeah, I think you guys are getting. I think Sacramento will get an XFL team with the Rocks organization.
Yeah,
I think they'll get an XFL
come on
team.
Now we got some real estate here for folks to do something with.
I'm from Sacramento. There's enough of a market that's there. I just think the people that go there, they just automatically assume it's just a small market and they just ride with it. They accept that excuse, right? They accept it. They're like, hey, this is a small market. We can't do it. Well, it's not that small of a market because the A's would consider moving there. So it ain't that small of a market. It's not small of a market where the Kings have sold out for the last 30 years. So it's not that small of a market. It has a market that's there. I think you just can't pigeonhole yourself saying, hey, we're a small market. You got to be able to go out there and say, you know what? Hey, we're just as good as everybody else who want to go, because we already seen that people are willing to commute 2.5 hours to go watch a game. Ask the San Francisco 49ers. Ask the Giants. People from Sacramento go in groves to go watch those games. So why can't it be the other way around, where you can create a fan base where people from there will come to see our organizations that are based in Sacramento, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, or whatnot. It's there, man. I think it's your mindset.
It is, and you're right, and all that. It's just, folks, we need to support local. Maybe that.
Kevin Cox, man, you nitpicking, Kevin. I know about
right here too, right? He in the Bay Area, right? So he right in between, and he talking madness, right? He like standing on the border of Oakland and San Jose, right? He talking madness about, like, it's all good, man. Appreciate you, brother. I want to end with the other story that I talked about, but you had mentioned an interesting thing, and I did see it. I didn't pull up the story yet, but Brady is already, that's Tom Brady for folks who don't know. He is at that point where we can just mention him by either first or last name. He's one of those. He's like Madonna. He's like Shaq, right? He's like that. He's already got a job after he gets through playing. He's going to play apparently maybe one more year. It seems like. So Tampa Bay should not expect it to be another multi-year deal with Brady. But he says he's going over to Fox. Going to be an analyst out there making more grown folk money, making that Giselle money. What do you think about this? And see this, I've got an issue with it, but. And I want to hear your side of it first, and while you talk about it, I'll bring up the story of why I've got an issue with it.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm happy that he got it. That's fine, because it's Brady has to go. He can provide insight, but not $300 million worth of insight for football. You can get a backup quarterback to do that, and I think it takes away from guys that have grinded their butts off to get to a position where they can be in that situation. And Fox is just handing it over to him, saying he deserves to get this kind of money over 10 years. I don't agree with that. I'm assuming Fox feels the NIL and Brady's going to bring all these fans to watch and everything like that. But I think if he's going to be anything, which he probably is going to be just like Romo, I'm not going to be a fan of it. I didn't think Romo was that great of a commentator. I don't know if Brady's going to be able to work out. I know Drew Brees is kind of doing it. The problem and this is another problem I was thinking about this as we were talking about this story. I see all these guys, and they're great players, But again, without signing a ratio, I want to know where are black quarterbacks having the opportunity to do these things, because they can provide insight as well. Where are other African Americans and Latino Americans able to provide insight to the sport just as well as these guys can and do that? How come we can give what's that boy's name from San Diego Chargers that had the implode? I forgot his name. Not Phillip Rivers, but the guy that was before him. They had the implode. They had the bad career. How come he can get another chance to be an analyst, but other guys can't? How come Matt Reiner can be an analyst and Achilles Smith can't be an analyst? How come Michael Vick hasn't got a chance to become an analyst? How come Warren Moon, the great, hasn't had a chance to become an analyst in these same situations when they've had a lot of success? Now, don't get me wrong. Brady's up there at the pinnacle. Won more Super Bowls than everything. Great guy. I think he's going to be able to be wonderful at that. But I think he's going to take away from a lot of other guys that had the opportunity, that's worked their butt off to get to that situation.
Yep.
And that's kind of unfair. But that is also the world we live in. You got to deal with reality. That is what it is now. They want to get the guy that's coined the GOAT to be able to provide us insight to why players are doing what. But I also believe they're undermining the skill of someone that's being on TV and being an analyst and being a color commentator and somebody that does play-by-play. That's a skill set that I don't think people realize is very hard and very difficult. I don't know if Brady's going to be there at that point. Ryan Leaf, exactly.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf was able to have a job, and a guy like, Ryan Leaf did bad things too, has a job as an analyst, but Michael Vick can't get a job as an analyst.
Can't get a job.
He's not even considered. So now that just turns to the point. And it's not the networks, because networks have analysts. Let's not get it twisted. Some of these networks have analysts. Teams don't have these teams that they cover, for some reason, don't have people of color analyzing their games, a la Dallas Cowboys. It's always Troy Aikman and the other guy doing that. I forgot his name. He's very good, though. He's always doing it. They're not there doing those analysts of those games when they're, at the game actually commentated. Then they go to halftime. That's a whole different set of group of guys doing it. But I'm really, it's really concerning, man, because I don't understand why we can't get insight from everybody. There seems to be enough jobs going around, obviously. Instead of paying him $300-some-odd million, why don't you pay him $100 million and hire somebody else to kind of do some other stuff? You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of coin being thrown out for him to be an analyst where he has no experience.
Exactly. So and that's the problem that I had, right? Yeah. And how I interluded it and said, making that grown folk, making that Giselle money, because everyone who knows Giselle made more money than Tom did during her career. And again, just it's also, I think it's a shame because it's has the team, the Bucks, know that their tenure with Brady is short and is already got an end date to it. They knew that, right? Because he was already somewhat retired, but now they know it's only going to be a year, because after this year, he's going to go off and do this other thing. But again, $375 million. I mean, Kevin is talking about, yes, the GOAT factor. I mean, he's one of those folks that is going to get money for just showing up and being him. But that's a lot of coin for someone who hasn't sat in that seat on that side of the field doing that type of a work, right? He can obviously play the game. He knows the game, but it's a whole lot. When you turn these lights and you press record on these cameras, it's a whole different field than being on the other side. So obviously he'll do fine. More likely he'll put the right folks around him. He'll get coached up. He'll get trained up. He'll do all of that. But again, it seems to be more of a distraction, to be honest with you, for the Bucks, that they know Brady is now going to be on a short tenure with them, already looking towards the next thing, as opposed to staying laser locked in, laser focused on what the Buccaneers need to do. And again, someone else could have been making that kind of money as opposed to throwing it to
yeah, I think he's professional.
I like Randy Moss. Hold on. Yeah. I would love to see Moss have his own show. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But Randy does commentating for ESPN on Sundays. He doesn't have his own show, but he has his own segment. Yeah. So Randy's doing his thing. I mean, and I'm just saying, man. I mean, for somebody to get $375 million to do something he's never done before, that seems like a big overpriced payment for him to be able to come do something he's never done before.
Yeah.
It seems like to me, and I'm saying, with opportunities, how come opportunities hasn't came to some other people? Like I said, I always draw it down. Matt Leinart is an analyst on CBS, right, for college football. Well, Akili Smith was better than him when he was in Oregon, but he doesn't get a shot to be an analyst. You mean to tell me that he can't break down film like Matt Leinart does and says the same thing that Matt Leinart does? So and it's not location because I know Akili Smith personally. He lives in Southern California, so it's not like you got to fly him in from anywhere or do anything. He's in the geographical region where you can bring him in, and he can say the same things. Ryan Leaf has a college analyst job. Actually, and we're talking about quarterbacks only. Ryan Leaf was a bust, right? Some people say Akili Smith didn't have a successful career. But why does Ryan Leaf, who went to jail, did all these horrible things with drugs and all that stuff, get a chance?
Remember that.
Akili Smith has none of that stuff on his record. He just wasn't successful in the NFL. He doesn't get the shot. How come he doesn't get the shot? How come he's not getting a chance to come in there and be an analyst on there and talk about the sport that he loves and the things that's groomed him to be as great as he was and talk about that inside as well? That's the part that makes me mad. Like, no disrespect to Brady, he's a great. But how come Warren Moon hasn't got that stage call? Warren Moon broke every record there was. He doesn't get that stage call.
Yeah, what is Brother Moon up to? Haven't heard anything from him. Yeah.
So it disturbs me because those opportunities don't seem like they go. A lot of guys that are out of NFL come. It doesn't go to a lot. It doesn't go to the greats in college of color. They don't get that shot to come back and be able to be an analyst and get those other jobs and get those other opportunities. Even Johnny Manziel got a shot to be an analyst at some point when he was finished with his career.
Yeah,
he got
that's
to come
true.
back.
That was crazy talk too. That
That
was crazy.
Manziel got to get to do it, but Jamarcus Russell doesn't get a chance to be able to come talk and say some things. And I'm not talking about an interview. I'm talking about becoming an analyst and be there and be able to be coached up, have stats, be able to learn how to do those things. We don't get those opportunities as much. And I think this Brady one, even though he's a GOAT and he's very great, he's going to be. I think he'll eventually be good, especially as breaking down plays. I don't know if he's worth that kind of money. And two, I think it's taken away from somebody else. And I also think other people deserve to get an opportunity in that seat. Yeah, that's where I'm going with this whole thing.
Man, see, there we go. We breaking it down, folks. What do you think about that right there? Put your statements in the comments right there. If we keeping it real for you right here. Let's go. Damn, I didn't see. COVID got me pushing the wrong buttons, brother.
Hey man, I'm good with that. We're on every Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I was gonna go get me a drink real quick while the call to action played, but hey, this is live streaming. Yeah, that's right. We live every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Well, hold on, man. I don't like that. Why did that not play? I'm a perfectionist too. I'm gonna play it again. Okay. There we go. See, I'm pretty good at Final Cut. I can edit that out before.
All right, well, I'm with that, man. Subscribe to the show. Definitely. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Definitely the real here. So I would say subscribe to the show. Definitely, and man, please give us your topics, what you want us to talk about. If there's something that you feel we should discuss on the show, I would encourage anyone to comment on it and talk about it and let us bring it up. And you can get it through our lens of what we think about it, and then we can take what you say.
You never know what we're gonna talk about, man. It's always gonna be off the chain. That's why we got to have these star moderators like Mr. Kevin Cox in here to keep at least me off the rails.
Kevin is straight focused.
Keep him focused.
He focused. He definitely focused.
Yeah, man. You got to keep him focused. All right, but let's get into this last crazy story, and it may draw some controversy, may draw some questions, but that's okay. That's what we do. Where we at here? Chris Paul, he ready to put them hands on somebody because somebody was putting their hands and harassing his family at the last game between the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. You guys probably heard about this. Young fan heckling Chris Paul's family on Mother's Day, of all days too. Don't mess with the man's wife and the man's mother on that day, literally poking at him, putting your hands on him, and saying Happy Mother's Day. Apparently that's what was going on, because I hadn't heard all the specifics of it, but Kenny Smith on TNT kind of went into some detail I think it was last night, about what was going on. The young kid was actually drinking too much, was actually saying Happy Mother's Day to Chris Paul's wife and mother sarcastically, right? And then actually putting his hands on him, poking at him. Got into a little altercation right there. Obviously, Chris Paul saw it, and he says, I'll see you after the game. And I'm almost like rightfully so, right? I mean, CP3, man, you can't be putting your hands on people, regardless of the age of the individual. So yeah, it's this young gentleman right here in this green jersey right here. Looks like a teenager. I don't know. I can't tell age or anything of that nature. But again, looks like a young cat out there heckling. Was probably drunk. But man, what are your thoughts on this again in terms of?
Hey, protect your family first.
Fans, there you go. Fans getting out of hand, possibly, right? And just that whole aspect. And then let's talk about the security aspect again, right? Just because we keep having these types of stories and these conversations about security at these events where either folks are running out on the court, gluing themselves to the floor, or chaining themselves to the back court stanchion, or now you got VIPs and celebrities and people of interest heckling getting heckled, right? I mean, this is just
well, we got the Dave Chappelle situation that just happened.
The Dave Chappelle situation, man. Come on, man.
I believe. Well, let's start back. For you think what I think about it, I think protect your family at all costs at first, right? You protect your family, you make sure. So Chris Paul's definitely not in the wrong. Right. I would go after anybody this rest of my mom and my wife as well, in any kind of form or fashion to protect them.
Yeah.
Number two, in that particular situation with Chris Paul, security looked like they reacted pretty fast. Security looked like they was there, like as soon as they figured out the situation was going on, they were there. They escorted the young man and whoever he was with out. And I've also heard they banned him from all games. He can't come to no more NBA games anymore. So I think security and them reacted pretty swiftly on that, and where it didn't get out of hand. But it's also the same thing, man. If I'm a player and I participate in the court and I got to worry about my family, or somebody harassing my family in here, there's a problem. I truly believe the NBA needs to block off a certain section for family. Well, usually they kind of do it and say, hey, family only sits here. Family and close friends can only sit here. And that's going to be blocked off by where fans can't, regular fans can't get involved or can't be there in that situation. I think they're going to probably do some protocol stuff to kind of alleviate some of those things that are going on. But I mean, right now we're in a point in I think entertainment period where fans actually think they can do things or dictate things that go on. I mean, the Dave Chappelle thing. I mean, this guy went up on stage. He had a knife.
Yeah.
They was fighting him off, and then they pulled him off, and they handled the young man. But I'm saying that situation could have got a lot uglier than it was.
Yeah,
a lot uglier than it was.
That one concerns me a lot because look, I'm a fan of comedy, right? And I think my dad is online right here. Last year I took him to see Ali Sadiq, and Ali Sadiq is coming back to Sacramento, and I want to buy those tickets. But then I saw Chris Rock is coming to up here in this area too, and I say, man, I want to get them tickets. But it's just unfortunate and it's sad that, and again, you can't make the assumption that it's going to happen all the time. But when you start seeing those types of situations, you're like, man, protect yourself at all times, protect the fans, protect the principal on stage. And so hold on, I want to say this, and the reason why this is I'm so passionate about this because for 10 years I worked for Clear Channel Entertainment and for Bill Graham Presents. It was my role to secure the principal who was coming to perform that night. So once they arrived to the venue, I got them from their tour bus, to back of stage, to front of stage, and I protected them, the primary asset for that entire time of the show. So I am intimately aware of what it takes to secure a Paul McCartney, a Steve Tyler, those types of folks, and these types of situations when they happen is to break down somewhere, and I think it needs something needs to be happened to take care of everyone that's involved. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
No. I think you're right. I think security protocol around stars needs to be what you call it, enhanced or revisited and corrected, right? Because now we're running into situations where these people are definitely able to get on stage they would have, be in a situation where they could possibly harm the artist or harm the star. I think it needs to be reformed. There's the word I want to use. It needs to be reformed to be fixed right. I also do think we have poor examples, and I hate to bring it up, and I don't want to bring it up, but I mean the situation like Will Smith, walk up on stage, you're assault Chris Rock.
Come on.
Then we have we had the young ladies in the Minnesota series trying to run on the court and do their thing and do all those things. These people some of these people just want to be famous. They want to get their name and their look out there because they did something ignorant or crazy. Just like the guy with Dave Chappelle, he wants to be somewhere in the starlight or somewhere getting the limelight. And this is why he did what he did. So security has to be reformed and conducive to the environment we're in now, the social media environment, the instant gratification or this instant success. If I go do something stupid, I'm gonna get a million views. I'm gonna be an instant superstar. Those things need to figure out how to make do security a lot better around these people, because in all honesty, man, I think either someone's gonna end up getting hurt or they're gonna end up hurting somebody. What's his name? The Baby, the rapper, the Baby. He don't play that. He didn't punch out a couple of fans. They just tried to get up on him or do something wrong to him.
That's true.
And they say he's wrong, but I say, why is he wrong? If I feel somebody is doing something to me or something to me, why can't I defend myself? I'm in a room full of thousands of people, and you throw something at me or you hit me with something, I'm reacting. I'm swinging wherever direction it came in. I'm swinging on that person.
Justified.
So
justified.
Yeah. He's in the mindset. I'm protecting me first. I'm protecting me at all costs first, and then I'll deal with the situation or the ramifications afterwards. And I don't see anything wrong with that when you're in that situation, when you're around thousands, even sometimes millions of people that are there watching you, that are around you, that want to touch you and want to be around you. And some of these people don't know how to act. They don't know how to act. So I just think security needs to be reformed. I think it'll be it's going to be a really strong evaluation for the NBA. Obviously for comedy shows and all that. Those things are all, they're going to reform them, re-strategize, figure out how to do it. And I believe, man, who knows? We might be seeing people perform behind glass at some point if it gets too out of hand.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate for sure. But I actually, it sounds pretentious, but I agree with you on the statement that some of those folks, again, those special circumstance folks, when you got your wife, when you're an NBA player and you got your wife and your mother, you got your children there, those folks need to be separated. Those folks need to be attended to, because I think about what you and I have talked about a lot about NIL, right? And so here's the correlation I bring to that. Again, you got folks that are coming up and now they have something from nothing, and you got folks out there behind the scenes that are like, now that you got something, I want it from you. So this brazen fan who's now been drinking 4 or 5 Budweisers is now thinking that they can go out there and poke at Chris Paul's wife and mother. He's too close to those. He's too close to those people. It really is. There needs to be some separation, or there needs to be some boundary. I don't know if it's the right answer. You and I are just contemplating.
No.
But something's got to happen.
But you got to you're looking at it through your lens of it, and think about it. If you're a player out there and you're doing your thing, and you have your wife and your kids in the stands, and there's other general fans that are there, and they're harassing them, or they're doing things that they don't want to do it to them, then me as an owner or somebody, I need to separate that. I need to say your family needs to sit here, or up there in the booth, or if they don't want to be in the booth, they can sit right here in these 3 rows that are definitely set for family only. And then we'll have security around that so they can't do those types of things, to watch people that are doing those things, in order to let them enjoy the game the way they want to, right? That's just kind of a fair the way you want to do it. It's sad that we have to come to that place, right? But it's actually the reality of it. It's the reality of things, because, like I said, people will do anything for likes and hits on their Twitter or hits on their account now.
It's the TikTok world that we live in. Come on, y'all.
Yeah. Including whether it be just running out on the court, whether it be chaining themselves to the court, whether it be punching somebody in the face or assaulting them. They want to be known. They want to be that person on the mainstream to get those hits. Right. So I think, I believe security officers, security teams, security organizations, securities around these stadiums are going to have to do a different kind of protocol and reform what they're currently doing and change it. to make sure there's none of those artists or those people don't get hurt. And once they fix that, we'll learn how to adjust and maneuver that way again.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different. It has to be, because at the bottom line, you can't risk a commodity like James Chappelle getting stabbed on stage. He's a $1 billion commodity. You can't risk that. You can't risk Chris Paul being upset about his wife, and because that one he can't play the game and maximize him. He's a commodity. I need to like him and the things that are around him. If he's worried about somebody harassing his family in the stands, he's not going to perform on the court like he's supposed to.
He's not doing his job. Yeah, he can't.
He's not doing his job.
On his job. Yeah.
Yeah. So am I gonna spend a few extra $100 on security to be around his family and set them in a couple of seats, or I'm gonna and protect the best interest of my guy who's a $1 billion client that's on the court, who's making money by selling jerseys and winning baskets and advancing us in the playoffs? Yeah. I think, man, it's gonna have to be that balance. They're gonna have to figure out how can we protect them and their family more, because we're in a different area, in a different arena, and different stages in this world where that social media means more to people than anything, and that means anything.
Got it.
So they want to do that. So when those things are starting to come up, when those things are starting to arise, man, we have to change with the times. And I think security teams and security protocol hasn't changed as fast with the times. So I think once they fix that, everything will be okay. But it's a sad day that we have to come to that. It's sad. Yeah. It's actually sad.
You know, fans, long form fanatics, we bought this on ourselves.
Yep.
I've got some contacts that are still in the event management and team management world. I'm gonna talk to them and see if I can get them on the show in the coming weeks to talk a little bit about what they're doing around guarding stadiums, guarding teams, guarding players and family members and things like that. So I'm gonna make sure to get that going so we can get to, because this isn't changing. This isn't going to stop, and it's going to continue to be relevant. And this, again, now that everyone's got the cell phone, we saw what actually broke out and what actually happened. So let's keep this conversation going. That's it, man. That's our stories. That's our days. I didn't end up going through a coughing fit. I didn't end up passing out. I feel like I'm about to pass out, but so that's why we gonna end. That's how we gonna end up.
Get some green tea and some ginseng in you, man.
I'm drinking the tea tonight. Man, you see this mug right here? Goodness gracious! Shouts out to the swagged out gear too. I mean, anyway. Montel, thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Go ahead and round us out. Send us home. I always love it when you bring us home.
Man, keep your 10 toes down and pray every day. And, man, make sure you reach out to a loved one to make sure they're not going to anything. And help the next man that needs some help. Next person needs some help, man. Step up and give, donate those couple of quarters you got in your change jar to give to somebody, because you never know how far that could take somebody else. So, God bless everybody.
We out. Y'all be good to yourself. Appreciate you now.